I was a teacher for 12 years prior to leaving to become an event organiser, to run a charity. That's a bit confusing sometimes. In that time, I noticed ridiculous and seemingly acceptable levels of casual homophobia, both in the classroom and in the schoolyard. And as a gay teacher, it was appalling to listen to this all day, every day. The cries of faggot or gaylord, an accidental touch at some show of affection, and anything. But it broke my heart to think about the lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender young people who were growing up in that system, believing that they were inferior to everybody else. It's almost a year to the day since we did our first workshop in a North London school. And Charlie Condu and I went into a classroom where he talked to young people about his life as an actor, a father, and as it happens, a gay man. And the kids were curious, they weren't repulsed, they were interested, and they had a lot of questions for us. But it was the first time, I think, for a lot of them that the people had stood in front of them and talked about a subject that normally is shrouded in shame. And suddenly here were some people who just happened to be happy and successful adults, and their gender identity or sexual orientation made no difference whatsoever. And I must applaud you on how quiet you're being so far, by the way. Long minute, nice. This is about 20 minutes to go. I do remember some sort of confusion in that class, actually. A little girl who put her hand up after Charlie explained his co-parenting arrangements and said, "Sir, does your wife mind you sleeping with that other man?" On that note, I do have to put in a very, very, very special thank you to Charlie, who's been there from day one, not only being a role model, but actually saying to me about 6 months ago, along with Jennifer McDonald, "Why don't we just put on a little fundraiser to make some money to help you out?" That was this night. He's been there organising this whole thing for us, got up at daybreak, before daybreak. To give you the negatives on what we do, last week I had a text from a role model at the school that they were in, and there was a boy running around the school screaming, "Batty boys!" because he'd heard that DRM were in the school. We have kids sitting in their seats, slouching, pulling their hoods up right over their heads. I had a boy who sat there with his fingers in his ears the entire workshop, proving that he wouldn't listen. Although I did notice at the end, his fingers weren't really pressing on his ears, because he was curious, the same as they all are, they just don't want to show it. Nobody has ever talked to them about this stuff in this way before. We have a lot of Muslim young people, and they say they'd rather die than be gay. They tell us that there are no gay Muslims. And today, at an 80% Muslim girls' school in Neasden, one of our role models, Sumaya, went to talk to them about the fact that she's had girlfriends, she's had boyfriends, and the way she represents Islam is entirely her business. Yeah.